Good morning or good afternoon. If you're watching this later in the day, today we are going to talk about characterization and we're going to start by going over direct characterization. So let's go ahead and dive right in and take a look at our topic for today. Today's goal is going to be to explain characterization. Always helps if we start with the base concept and then talk about direct characterization. Our next topic will be the indirect characterization, so hold on tight for that, coming to you next week. Characterization is the way an author creates a character. So within each piece of fiction that we read, we are going to have a main character or main characters. And the author is going to give us information and present information about that character in two different types of ways. One being direct characterization, the other being indirect characterization. And the two are very important to helping us understand what the character is doing, kind of the motivation behind their actions, how others think of them. It's really going to help us to get to know those characters throughout a story. So let's look at the word direct before we get into looking at the specifics of direct characterization. Synonyms for the word direct, synonym meaning similar words with the same meaning, even if they're not exactly the same word. And they shouldn't be exactly the same word. That would be a synonym. So synonyms for the word direct: set, pinpoint, straight, straightforward, candid, open. So take a moment and pause this video and think about some different words that kind of also go along with the word direct or set, pinpoint, straightforward, open. Think about those synonyms that you would use for the word direct. Keep in mind that we're talking about synonyms because we're talking about words that can help us to understand the meaning of the word direct in order to truly understand the idea of direct characterization. So if you have a notebook, if you're using a journal this summer to write down the concepts that we're going over, make sure to add that to it as well. Let's look at what the idea of direct characterization is. So direct characterization does three things. It tells the reader, it gives useful information, and it kind of gives overall information. So it tells the reader, John is smart, Sammy is short, Miss Ford is silly. It's going to give direct information, straightforward information to us as readers to better understand what is happening or information about a character. It's also going to give us some useful information. Samuel is not well liked. Joanna always knew the answer, which upset her classmates. Okay, she always knew the answer. If we're talking about a classroom and we say Joanna always knew the answer, that tells us direct information about the character. She always knows the answer. And it gives us overall information about a story or about a character. Letitia was smart, funny, and loved by all at her job. That gives us direct information to understand about Letitia and kind of how she plays into different parts of the story. Now, direct characterization can be very specific and straightforward, like Joanna always knew the answer. And then it can kind of delve into the indirect at the same time, which upset her classmates. That's kind of giving us a peek into other people's thoughts, which can help us look at the idea of indirect characterization, which we'll get into next. But direct characterization is specific information from the author to tell us as the reader what we need to know about the character. So it's specific, straightforward information. It's important to find the information of direct characterization because a lot of the times that stuff that is going to stay the same, or maybe we're going to see little bits of information popping out indirectly from other characters throughout that might challenge the way that we see a character. It also can help impact the idea of the narrator. Remember, the narrator is who or what is telling us the story. That narrator might not be reliable. So we may hear some information at the beginning directly that we find out later is not the case. So this was a short review on the idea of direct characterization. So please join me next time for the idea of indirect characterization. To preview for next time, I want you to think about that prefix in. We know that direct characterization is set, straightforward, pinpoint. So what does that prefix in tell us about the idea of the characterization we will cover next? See you, sayonara, adios. I'll see you guys next time.